This is the third lesson in Indian Church History series. The Indian mission of Panthenos. The visit of Panthenos of Alexandria in India in 189 was the second Indian mission after the first one by St. Thomas the Apostle. A study of Panthenos' visit in India is very important since it is an answer to many questions of historical speculation. The visit of Panthenos in India in the 2nd century of Christian era proves that there existed Christianity in India. Panthenos was a remarkable figure in history. Born a Jew and thoroughly trained in Greek philosophy, he was converted to the Christian faith and later moved to Alexandria. This erudite Stoic philosopher later became the head of the school of Alexandria. As the principal of the catechetical school for the training of priests, he was soon acknowledged as the greatest Christian teacher of his time. Among his disciples were Clement of Alexandria and Origen. Clement of Alexandria pays tribute to him as his best teacher. Origen describes him as the first Christian who has fully availed himself of the stores of true learning and philosophy. Jerome, the biblical translator, acknowledged his debt to the many commentaries of Panthenos. The Bishop of Alexandria, Demetrius, sent Panthenos to India in 189 at the request of the Indian Christians. Jerome wrote in the 5th century that the great church in Alexandria, center of Egyptian Christianity, sent its most famous scholar Panthenos, head of the theological school in that city, to preach Christ to the Brahmins and philosophers in India. This Demetrius ruled the Egyptian church for 40 years and built the catechetical school attached to his cathedral into a world-famous center of learning under 3 great masters, Panthenos, Clement and Origen. Origen, disciple of Clement, who in turn the disciple of Panthenos, considers Panthenos as a great Alexandrian luminary. Jerome calls Panthenos the most learned of all. Eusebius writes that Panthenos went among the Indians. Eusebius and Jerome should have depended on an Alexandrian tradition, which is to be traced to Panthenos and handed down in the Alexandrian church through Clement of Alexandria and Origen. The Alexandria-Malabar connection, the commercial route between Alexandria and South India, called Alexandria-Muziris trade route, which facilitated the Indian mission of St. Thomas in 52 AD, was the prime factor which helped Panthenos, the head of the Alexandrian theological school, to visit the Indian church and thus effected the second Indian mission in the person of Panthenus. Panthenus is the first patristic witness about the apostolic origin of Christianity in India. Panthenus is the first known person from the West to visit the church in India personally in the second half of the 2nd century. He thus testifies to the fact that there existed Christianity in India due to the missionary work of an apostle, of course, St. Thomas. Panthenus was invited by the Indian Christians and he was sent by the Alexandrian bishop. This again makes clear that there existed some kind of relationship between these two churches. This again confirms the Indian mission of Thomas, whose city of embarkation was Alexandria according to the Acts of Thomas. The Indian Christians' adjacent contact with the Persian church therefore should have started later than this event. If there had been earlier contact, Indian Christians should have turned to them and not to the Alexandrian church. Thus, when the first Indian mission due to the Apostle Thomas founded a church in India, the second Indian mission due to Panthenus made the Indian Christians confirmed in their faith. The second Indian mission is therefore no less important than the first one.